Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to, I guess it's the first official Alpha Leaks, with me since the changeover. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays if you're going to be celebrating in the new year. I hope everybody's going to be taking some time out to kind of recharge, spend time with family, and basically just enjoy themselves. Now, a few things I want to kind of go through today in the same way that we normally do with the public updates. But what I want to do after that is spend a little bit of time recapping on what we've actually done and achieved this year at Aurora. And of course, give some, some sneak peeks as to what we're going to be doing in the new year as well. But we'll go with the updates first. So one of the kind of biggest updates for this week, of course, is the Aurora listing on Revolut. Now, this is obviously great because it provides access to the Aurora token for millions of users, that would otherwise not necessarily have been able to find Aurora easily. It massively helps in terms of growing our brand and our reach as well. And this is just kind of the first step that we're going to be taking with our partnership stream as we go into the new year. So if you haven't already and you have a Revolut account, I definitely recommend checking it out and seeing Aurora there live. In other news, we have Biddle Europe coming up on the 7th to the 8th of January in Lisbon. We are going to be attending. We have a booth there. Our head of marketing, Charlie, is going to be there, and so is our head of product, Armand. So if you're in the area and you'd like to learn more about what we're going to be doing in 2026, whether it's Aurora focused, whether it's Calyx focused, please do pop down and say hello to the team. In other news, we actually now have the Hacker Agent waitlist that's gone live. So Hacker are essentially building a yield generating tool on top of Near Intents. They've now opened invitations for people to be able to check it out. I do recommend you take some time to take a look. It's going to be quite an interesting one of our virtual chains in the new year. Going back to one of our incubator projects, Tradable, they've actually just launched a $500 USDC prediction competition. So please be sure to check it out. You can visit this tweet and follow the instructions, and it will walk you through how you can potentially win the prize. Not a bad little amount if you do win just before Christmas. Moving over to some of the news on the Near side. So Starknet is now officially live on Near Intents. So this is now going to allow you to use Near Intents to swap more than 120 new native assets from major chains. No bridging steps are going to be required and no chain hopping. So again, this is part of the Near Intents team's mission to basically bring the seamlessness and the stability that we've seen already, to as many tokens and as many networks as possible. In addition to that, Near have also announced that they are live on Solana. So this is obviously great news for anybody within the Solana ecosystem. It now means that anybody can swap any token they like into Near, send that Near over to Solana, and trade freely within that ecosystem. So again, just like we've just seen, they're going to be continuing this in the new year and expanding into kind of new networks and new partnerships. Now, in addition to that, we've had a competition that's been running, and I need to pick 3 winners. So this is obviously quite interesting because usually I'm not picking things that have my name mentioned in it. But I guess with Alex stepping back, the memes will now be targeting me. So the first winner is Praise. I'm a big fan. So Peaky Blinders is a show I thoroughly enjoy. I have no problem, being compared there. So congratulations, Praise. We also have a winner with Immortal, using Near Intents, and the clever combination of making it look like Superman's talking about it is something I like. Most people know that I'm a big fan of Marvel as well. So they're always going to win that one. And then in addition to that, we also have Leoton, who's the 3rd winner. So this one made me laugh. Quite clever, and they are our 3 winners for today. One other piece of news, we've just announced a new partnership with Dian. So Dian are actually providing any dApp within Aurora mainnet or within the Aurora ecosystem with the possibility of having insurance. So again, this is going to be a great way to mitigate chain risk management and asset protection for any projects that are operating within the ecosystem as well. Now, before I cover the Festive competition, I just want to remind people that they have until I get to that point to submit their entry. There's 3 prizes up for grabs, one for $300 and I think 2 for $200. So you've got a few more minutes to kind of go through that. But before then, I wanted to go over what we've actually done in 2025. So 2025 has been a pretty big year. For Aurora, we've spent a lot of time kind of maturing our infrastructure. We've released a number of new products. If you think back all the way to January, where we were showcasing new features for our virtual chains, then we've launched Calyx, and what we've seen is a pretty good adoption on both those fronts. What does that actually mean in reality? Well, it means that we've had over 200 virtual chains. I actually think we're about 240 now. We've secured 35 new partnerships within the Aurora Cloud Console marketplace and in general. We had a first ever incubator initiative where we had 5 projects that went through that process. Tradable, as you saw only today, are still kind of providing updates for us, and all of the projects are still developing well and doing well. Quite excited to see what they'll be doing in the new year. In addition to that, we had 2 cross-chain launches with, of course, Calyx and Near Intense, which was moved to Diffuse Labs, has processed over 8 billion in volume. So all in all, it's been a pretty impressive year, for Aurora, and it really has laid the groundwork for what we want to achieve. What we've now basically done is taken 2025 as an opportunity to be a one-stop shop for any projects that don't necessarily have the huge capital, that other projects have, but still allow them to get to market easily. And we've done that, obviously, with the virtual chains. We've got the SEX withdrawals. We've got the ability to deploy no code, full EVM on Near. But what we've really done is start to package all of our products around this kind of go-to-market strategy. So, of course, Calyx, which is the newest initiative that we started and released in Q4, takes the virtual chain concept one step further. It doesn't just give you somewhere that you can build your own dApps and build your projects, but it also gives you the opportunity to launch your token on multiple chains, reaching as wide an audience as possible. And then we kind of top that off with Near Intense, of course. So what you've got is the infrastructure to build and launch. You've got the distribution to actually raise and make sure that your token reaches as many networks as possible. And of course, Near Intense underpins all of this, with that kind of seamless cross-chain swapping. Wanted to take the opportunity as well, obviously, to kind of thank everybody that's been working with us this year. There's a whole host of partners that really have kind of supported us along the way, whether it's marketplace partners, whether it's, of course, Near themselves, who've been a great support to Aurora this year, or it's just been projects that we've been working with at events or with various product releases. Privy, for example, on the Calyx side for kind of seamless onboarding. It really is important, and these relationships are the reason why our products have been able to kind of develop in the way that they have. So big thanks to everybody there, and obviously look forward to working with all of you in the new year. Now, who actually saw us at the event? So there's quite a few of us that attended quite a lot of events this year. I had the opportunity to speak with quite a few of you. Obviously, we're going to be attending events in the new year, the first one being Build Europe, but there's also going to be Denver and a number of other events that are coming up. If you didn't get a chance to see us this year, don't worry. There'll be plenty of opportunities to see us in 2026. So what does 2026 actually look like? And I want to take a moment, I guess, to stop here because I'm seeing, obviously, a lot of the questions that come in. And so I really wanted to reiterate to everybody that, Aurora isn't going anywhere. Alex hasn't left the company. Alex, in fact, it speaks to me most days. He's a friend and an advisor. This is still his company. And 2026 is going to be a huge year for Aurora. What are we going to be doing? Well, we've got the products, we've got the infrastructure, we've got that maturity now. What we now need to do is actually stop being the best kept secret, and push it forwards with scalability and growth. And that's really what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be launching 2 new projects on Calyx in January. We'd hoped that one of them would have come this side of Christmas, but alas, with the Christmas holidays and everything else, we wanted to ensure it was seamless. And so you can expect the first of these projects to be launching in early January. But we're not going to be stopping there. We're also going to be expanding Calyx into other ecosystems. And this is something that's really, really exciting for us, because it's going to mean that Aurora is present in multiple ecosystems across the board. And we're talking about the biggest of the biggest. Calyx is going to be visible and accessible to millions more people than those that currently see it today. So this is going to be a key focus for us in Q1 and throughout 2026. Of course, what we're also going to be doing is growing our revenue streams. Every project, I think certainly over the last 3 to 6 months, has struggled, I would say, certainly with the market dip. So ensuring that we've got that stability, and that runway to grow is going to be super important. And I'm going to be talking about how we're going to be doing that on the next couple of slides. But essentially, all of these things together will allow us to strengthen our performance across our products, reach new projects, and really expand everything that we've spent the last 2 years building. And this is something that I'm really, really excited to be leading into 2026. And we've got a fantastic team who I'd also like to take an opportunity to say thank you to for all of the hard work that they have kind of put into developing the projects, marketing the products, attending the events, putting together the documentation, reviewing the legal requirements. It really does take a lot of people to do what we do. And each and every one of them that we have here at Aurora are the best at what they do. So I'd like to say thank you to them as well. So what are we actually doing to help us build revenue? Well, we have a new product that's going to be coming out, and this is the first time that it's being shared publicly. We have all seen the success of near intent and projects being able to kind of integrate in at an API level. But what we've also seen is a gap. There's a lot of projects out there that don't have the resources to incorporate the APIs and just want the ability to access the power that near intent provides. And Aurora has got the answer for that. So in Q1, we've already got clients that we're working with that will be the first to be onboarded for this. We'll be releasing a new near intents widget, which will be the official widget for near intents, which will allow any project to be able to essentially configure how they want the widget to work. So they'll be able to choose which networks it supports, which tokens are available, whether or not they're using account abstraction. They'll be able to completely white label it and literally embed it directly into their own application. Now, this is going to be a hugely important product for us at Aurora and for near intents, because it's going to allow us to scale even faster than that's been happening. It's going to provide a fantastic revenue source, which of course we'll be able to use to continue developing our products and everything else. So yeah, please keep an eye on this. I'll be sharing more and more information as we release it throughout January. But look forward to kind of seeing projects use it and really kind of bringing near intents to a much wider audience than the massive audience that we're already seeing today. So I think that pretty much sums up everything really from me, other than to say happy holidays. And I really do hope everybody has a really good Christmas, and that 2026 is a fantastic year for everyone as well. Now, one last thing to round up on is, of course, the competition that we've been running. $700 to show off your workstation, $300 and a limited edition backpack for the best setup, $200 for the worst. Apologies in advance if I pick you, although some of you clearly have done it deliberately. And of course, $200 for the best holiday vibe. So our winner is, and apologies if I pronounce it wrong, Vladuskis. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic work setup. Love the lighting, love the Christmas theme as well. Congratulations, you are the winner of our top workstation. In terms of the one with the best vibe, I'm British, and rumor has it that we like to drink. So but the cheese board and everything else that's in place, yeah, Marius, you're winning the best festive setup for the competition. Congratulations, you've got $200 prize there. And then the worst setup, I mean, yeah, congratulations, Crypto 360. You are the winner of our worst setup. And that hopefully sums up the alpha leaks this week. As I said, I hope everybody has a fantastic Christmas. I'm now going to jump into some questions, and I can see we have a lot. So I might not be able to get through all of them, but I'm going to do my best. So let me just head back over. Okay, so we have a question here from Swayam. I'm not sure why it's not popping up on the screen though. 1 second. Okay, so I can't bring them up on the screen, but how much of Aurora's future roadmap and go-to-market strategy is being built around Calyx? So you saw there in the 2026 plans, Calyx is absolutely going to be playing a part. Calyx is in many respects the best engine we could have for growing our brand. And I'm going to tie in a couple of other questions here where people have said, obviously there's been some issues with some of the launches with Calyx, Intellex, Consumify obviously deciding to do a refund. There's obviously learnings that we've taken from there, and I touched upon this in the near ecosystem collaboration call. So there's a huge number of steps that we've already taken to improve the due diligence that we do and to look a little bit deeper. In regards to Intellect specifically, which I've had quite a few questions around, we are actively investigating that and we'll take any action that we need to take. The whole point of Calyx is transparency. And I will absolutely share the outcome of that once we complete that investigation. Okay, other questions. What do we have here? How will Aurora support builders in 2026 from Crypto 360? So, yeah, I mean, great question. So the virtual chains is something that we're obviously continually working on. We've announced a new partnership this week. There'll be more new partnerships coming. We're actually in talks with quite a few projects at the moment, pretty sizable ones, that are actually looking at using Aurora Cloud as their virtual chain as well going forwards. So we'll be continuing to do that. We'll be continuing to grow Calyx. The partnerships that we're going to be doing with other ecosystems will be a fantastic way to support projects, because it won't only provide access to a much greater pool of potential investors for your project, but it'll give you access to all of the kind of skills, knowledge, and partnerships that come from those networks as well. And of course, then there's the widget, which is going to allow bringing liquidity into your virtual chain easier than ever, and allowing your users to be able to trade with any tokens that they want to, when they're using the dApps as a whole. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so we have a question from Elena. What is the primary revenue source for Aurora Labs today? This year, a significant amount of tokens are burnt to sustain operations. How does this fit into the long-term sustainability model? Yeah, great question. So in terms of how we make money at the moment, a lot of it, obviously there has been token burns this year, but a lot of it actually comes from custom development projects and work that we've done. Aurora, it was the Aurora team that initially built Near Intents, for example. We've also done work with other projects that brings in kind of long-term revenue for us. But going into 2026, the widget is going to play an absolute pivotal role in our revenues, in ensuring that we've got that kind of long-term stability for the project and allowing us to be sustainable in the long term as well. There's another question here, from Elena. So Alex was a key driver of Aurora Labs growth. There are a lot of rumors of Aurora Labs being sunsetted and all assets withdrawn to Diffuse Labs. Well, that's news to me. I can tell you now that's not the case at all. I mean, look, I wouldn't have taken on the role if my job was to sunset Aurora. The fact that we're building a brand new product that we're going to be releasing next month should hopefully give everybody a very clear indication that Aurora isn't going anywhere. In fact, by being the official partner of Near Intents, our role is going to be more important than ever. We're going to be managing a lot of relationships with a lot of projects, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for growth. Many of us have been in the company for 3-4 years plus. There's been millions of dollars of investment into the products that we have developed. 2026 is about really pushing Aurora forwards at light speed and allowing us to scale rapidly, and that really is the only focus of the team. So yeah, if you're hearing anything else, it is just a rumor. There's absolutely no plans to sunset Aurora or to withdraw any assets to Diffuse Labs. Just scrolling down to see if we have any other questions. Okay, so Galileo, Declan, what does it feel like to be CEO? Tell us about your first steps and so on. Yeah, so I've had quite a few people ask me this. I mean, look, for me, not a huge amount is changing because, you know, as Alex said during the initial handover, a lot of the stuff that I'm managing now, I've been doing for some time anyway, because of course he's needed to focus a lot of his attention on near intents. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, you're responsible for everybody within the business. You're responsible for ensuring there's growth, and you're responsible for ensuring that the community are kept up to date. And that's a responsibility I take really seriously. That's why, you know, the weekly alpha leagues that we do are so important, as well as the events that we go to, so that we have that transparency with everybody that's interested in Aurora. But more than anything, I'd say I'm excited. You know, as I said, we've got such a strong plan and roadmap for 2026. We just want to execute and hit the ground running with that. Probably got time for a couple more questions. Yeah, so Kevlar, hi Declan, you mentioned that there would be a sale happening on Calyx before the year runs out. Yes, so we planned on having a launch that took place just before kind of New Year, but with the Christmas break and everything else, the project has kind of moved that to early Jan. So you won't have to wait long. You'll be able to enjoy your Christmas and New Year without any risk of missing anything. But it just means we're going to have multiple launches taking place in January now. So do please keep an eye out for that. We will be placing the projects on a kind of coming soon status as soon as possible. And then you'll have an understanding of when the launch dates are going to be. Okay, so let's have a look. So we have a question from Saeed. As a CEO of Aurora, how do you see the growth of the Aurora mainnet and ecosystem in coming months? Are there any plans to introduce additional utility for the Aurora token? Great question. And actually, that's something that we've been spending a lot of time working on throughout Q4, both for the token specifically and providing more utility for that and for the ecosystem itself. The launch of the widget is going to definitely create opportunities alongside, of course, the launch that we've had with Calyx and the expansion of Calyx to take on much bigger projects that want to raise much more money. I can't share the specifics on what we're planning to do now, but I will as and when we've finalized that and shared it with the team. You know, the mainnet and the Aurora token are, of course, a critical aspect of everything that we're trying to do here. But we need to make sure that we get the products that we've got nailed down tight and expanded as much as possible, and of course a successful release of the widget. Well, we really do have a lot of questions today. Let's have a look. Okay, so a few questions are coming through again. Okay, so we have a question from John. As Aurora continues to evolve, how do you envision the long-term relationship between Aurora and Near Protocol developing for next year? Great question, John. Near Protocol and the Near Foundation are extremely important, you know, both to what we're doing and what we've done. The fact that we are going to be the official partner for Near Intents with the widget hopefully kind of demonstrates that. So yeah, absolutely going to, you know, that's a relationship that's been going since before Aurora was formed. If you remember, Alex, you know, came, you know, from the Near Foundation, and we work extremely closely with a lot of the NF team. So yeah, absolutely, that will continue to be developing, and they'll continue to support us like they have done this year, you know, around initiatives like Calyx, and of course now the widget. Okay, one more question. Okay, there's still quite a few to go through, so I'm going to try and pick the best one. Okay, what do we have here? So, okay, yeah, so we have a question from Praise. Considering that you have a large number of launch pads, can you share with us a few killing features that makes Calyx superior to them? Great question. So really, why Calyx is so valuable, you know, and so much better than a lot of the other launch pads that are available today, is the flexibility that it provides, not just to the projects, but also to the people investing in it. By being built on near intents, people can bring in any token, connect virtually any wallet. And we've seen that already, right? Even with the sales that we've had, we've seen participation across 11 networks so far. In addition to that, by building it the way that we have done, it means that we can go to other ecosystems and say, hey, we've got this fantastic launch pad that is multi-chain, that can bring liquidity into your networks and attract users for projects that might not otherwise be able to reach them. I would say that is by far the killer feature, and that's why we've seen so much interest already, from other networks that are looking to work with Calyx and support it. There are some new features that we're going to be developing. This was touched upon last week, and I touched upon it in the Near Eco call last week, and that is the introduction of a battle pass. So for those who are familiar with battle passes, you might see them in Fortnite with Fortnite Crew, or on Call of Duty or on Battlefield. Something similar is in the works for Calyx. We're going to be launching kind of a light rewards platform in January for the upcoming launches, but that's going to be developing throughout Q1 and beyond, into a battle pass that really rewards users for participating and supporting the platform. So yeah, more to come on that and more to show on that. Okay, so still more questions coming through. What's the time? 2:30. Okay, I can probably take one more. Okay, John Sugar, what are the biggest learnings the team has gained from community feedback in the past year, and how have they influenced your strategic roadmap? Yeah, great question. So look, obviously Calyx hasn't gone without some challenges. As I've talked about already, we've definitely taken learnings from there. And in terms of the community specifically, we're going to be working with the community more in 2026 when it comes to projects that we're looking to launch. And this will be especially important as we partner with other networks as well, where actually we don't have all of the relationships with those networks in place. So yeah, you can expect more collaboration with the community in the new year. And in terms of the strategic roadmap, we absolutely have those ideas feed in. The widget that we're developing right now, for example, has come from community members and projects that we've partnered with and or clients that have said, hey, we could really use this feature. And that's going to be the ethos that we take in 2026 as well. The decisions that we make are data driven, not based not only on numbers and metrics and market analysis, but also what the community is asking for. So yeah, more to share on that as it comes. So I think I'm going to call it there. Apologies if I didn't get to cover all your questions. This is probably the most questions I've ever seen in an Alpha Leaks, which is fantastic. So thank you, everybody. If you desperately want a question answered that I couldn't cover here, please don't hesitate to tweet me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can do. But we'll round it up there. And again, I'd like to wish everybody a fantastic holiday, Christmas, and a happy new year. And I look forward to speaking to you all on Alpha Leaks in the new year with more updates on what we're going to be doing. Take care. Bye.